The next speaker is the CEO of Superworld, also a former speaker of the Masters program, Unit Masters. For those of you who've been to some of our Masters talks, you know that it's a pretty high quality product we're putting out and getting better and better all the time. And Hrish is one of our great former speakers. So a lot of people just a couple hours ago, somebody was talking about Superworld in this particular room. And so, you know, you're making waves in the world. Take it away.
Hey, yeah, thanks so much, Joe. I appreciate it. It's always good to be at Unit and, you know, really supportive of this community. You guys are doing amazing work, and, you know, anything I can do to be part of this and to help, you know, in your mission, I'm always excited about. So, you know, thanks again for having me. It's an honor and pleasure to talk today about, you know, specifically related to kind of what we're doing in the art world, and you know, some of the things that we do to empower artists around the world to you know, create amazing work and to you know, create livelihoods for themselves, and to, you know, get them better exposure and to allow them to really tell their stories in innovative ways. I'm going to go ahead and talk about, you know, start by talking about Superworld, kind of what it is, you know, how it works, like why we built it in such a way, and you know, kind of go into the mechanics of Superworld in general, and then I'll kind of you know, go in more detail on the art side. Some of the projects that we're working on, some of the things that we've done, as well as, you know, kind of show specific examples of how artists can utilize Superworld. Again, Superworld is a work in progress. It's a movement. It's a movement to, you know, leverage technologies like AR, VR, blockchain, and AI to build a better world. So we're always open to implementing, evolving, and improving the products we have on the platform. So always love your feedback. But let me go ahead and start. I'm going to share my screen and just kind of walk you through a deck of you know, kind of showing off what we're up to right now. So let me get on the screen. Can you guys see that? You do? Okay, perfect. All right. So again, I'm going to start by just kind of walking through what Superworld is. A lot of people, you know, find this useful because it gives them a good understanding of what we're building, and understand, you know, the various aspects of what we're building. Superworld, on a high level, is a movement, the movement to build a better world. But, you know, when you dig deeper into that, we're leveraging technologies, and there's a lot of technologies that we're working with: AR, VR, blockchain, and AI. So I'll go into kind of some of those things, go into the mechanics of that. So first of all, you know, as we look at NFTs and virtual worlds and blockchain and how that's really changed, I think the message here is that, you know, COVID has really forced us all to be more virtual in our lives. You know, this is a good example of that. We're all on a Zoom call, and we've seen, you know, huge growth in virtuality and huge growth in digital assets, NFTs. You know, this year has been such a huge increase in the NFT market compared to when it first launched 3 or 4 years ago. We've been around in the NFT market for now almost 4 years, and so it's a really welcome kind of change that people are recognizing this. But this slide kind of goes into kind of what are the benefits of utilizing blockchain. And so again, this is more kind of an ethos for Web3, but really what we're doing is we're providing, you know, artists the ability to, you know, have ownership of the assets that they're creating, have relevance, because in Superworld, we're actually mapped on top of the real world. So, you know, virtual worlds often lose relevance. But here, if you're creating art and you're putting them in real world locations, those real world locations will always have relevance. You know that when you're building in Superworld, as an example, it's always going to be a place where people are going to be forever, unless we move to a different planet, and we'll be on that planet too, I'm sure. So, we want to make sure that, again, Superworld's around us in our environment, as opposed to being this kind of totally virtual place. And then again, NFT technology is what really gives people the transparency and to be able to kind of participate in those economics. Again, on a high level, for everyone in here to just kind of understand, the blockchains are essential here because they give us that innovation, the integrity, transparency, give us secure ownership and property rights of the art that we're creating, and then really allow us to interact in this economy that can be, blockchain cross-platform. So not just Ethereum, but Solana, whatever your preference is in terms of where you're creating. We at Superworld want to allow you to create anywhere, and we'll go more into that as well. Again, just a kind of high-level definition of what Superworld is. Superworld's a virtual world mapped on top of the real world that empowers anyone to create, discover, monetize content, and own the world. We want to interface with all aspects of your life, online and offline. And our mission is to build a better world. So that is the goal, is how do we, again, work together to improve and empower people and enhance humanity. And that with the art world is a very powerful combination. So we want to beautify the world with art. Again, we're an expansive platform. So there's a mobile app that allows you to actually create and discover content anywhere. The NFT marketplace allows you to create NFTs. And then this virtual real estate platform allows you to actually buy places and own places in the world. So when you own a place in the world, you can even put your art, your NFTs, you can create storefronts in the real world at those places, and you'll get a large percentage of the monetization that happens there. So you can really own part of the platform. And that's the reason to do that. This is how the real estate looks. You can, again, buy places anywhere and place artwork in specific locations. This is an example of an augmented reality view on the screen, on the map. Again, each one of these objects can be opened up on a mobile app and seen in real world environments around you. This is just more of a 2D kind of look when you look on a map. There's an NFT view and there's an AR view. So you can see NFTs or you can just see AR content. The mobile app allows you to, again, create, discover, and monetize. And so there's kind of two main functions. You can buy virtual land anywhere in the world and you own those places. And then you can literally create anything. So 3D, 2D, audio, anything, and put it anywhere. And that's where the art comes in. You can, create art of any type, and you can put that art and sell it anywhere in the world. And even if you don't create it in Superworld, you can get it into Superworld. As an example of that, we just launched a partnership that was announced yesterday with Super Rare. Which, again, Super Rare and Superworld, you'll be able to see a lot of the art and artists that exist on the Super Rare platform in Superworld. And again, we'll be expanding that across all of the other marketplaces as well. This is an example of our NFT Salon. So again, artists can come here, create digital assets of any type. It's a pretty, straightforward process. We're on Ethereum. You can create assets and you can place them in 3D locations around the world. We're integrating with Solana as well very soon. And so again, very long-term oriented around what we're building. We're on Ethereum now, but Solana is definitely the next step for us, most likely. And we're also looking at Polygon and other layer 2 solutions as well. Really, the idea is that we want to make sure that this is as frictionless as possible. This is an example of kind of what the marketplace looks like. There's a little map icon if you see on those tiles, and those map icons allow you to click on it and you go directly to the map where the content is placed. So you can see content. Here we have Nicaragua and Panama. We did a partnership with the World Bank, where artists partnered with the World Bank and put artwork in the Caribbean. to raise money for disaster recovery for hurricane season. So again, the idea here is, you can create art, put it anywhere in the world, and we're always happy to work with artists who also want to support a charity or a cause. So if you have ideas out there that you want to do something, support a charity or a cause, definitely get in touch with us. We'd love to partner with you to create that and to get something out there to not only beautify the world, but also empower humanity and the physical world. So I'll show you more examples of that. But the Nicaragua and Panama Disaster Fighters partnership was done with the World Bank in the Caribbean. This is our Star Chamber, where we recognize artists and NFT creators that we love. It's a way to get more exposure for you as an artist. So if you have artwork that you want us to recognize and get to know you, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to promote you. Again, we're very global, so depending on what market you're in, or if you're a global artist, we're happy to work with you in either way to get you down to a more localized community or a bigger world community that we want to kind of promote you to. This is an example of one of our artists. Marjan is one of the most famous digital artists in the world. She produces art for some of the top shows and works with all the major platforms. And so again, we did an interview with her and kind of told her story of how she got into the art world and what's exciting for her. So again, some of the things that we can do with artists is to help you share your story, and we're always looking for great stories out there. So love to feature some of the unit community in what we're doing. Again, we have a variety of artists that are in residence at Superworld. This is another program that we'd love to offer to the community here. So if you'd like to showcase some of your art, you'd like to work with us more specifically and do partnerships together, we'd love to partner with you to get you involved as an artist in residence. We'll help kind of support the art that you're doing. We can collab on the art and help promote you together. So that's something else that's pretty exciting that we'll keep kind of building and developing. Another thing that we did, just as another example, is in Flint, Michigan, we did what was called the Flint Water Festival Digital Sea campaign, where we raised capital for cleaning up the Flint water issue, the Flint River. And so we did this kind of art show in the streets of Flint, Michigan on the Flint River. This is an example of that, a 3D hologram of a piece of art on the Flint River. And I think I have a video of something else. This was actually, this is not the Flint one, but this is another art show that was done in California. I think it was called Metavision. But the idea is, again, people are getting together all over the world, creating, art exhibitions. People are buying the land so they can kind of create these exhibitions and again, get a large share of the monetization that happens there. So that's kind of, example of that. Let me see here. So that was the same one. And then here's another one, just again, showing some kind of 3D artwork. This is the same kind of exhibition in California. This is an example of what we did in the Amazon. We brought together two tribes that have been at war for 500 years to come together to create art in the Amazon. And the goal there was to, basically, showcase the issues that are happening in the Amazon rainforest. So here's an example of a video that they, was created to show this project. Yep. And showing off some of the things that we're doing there. This is an example of how you can see the AR 3D work. So again, this is viewable for anyone. This guy, put the AR work in his garden at home. So you can he can just walk around his garden and see the 3D NFTs with the trees and the sound and everything. Again, this is just the beginning of this platform. So this content, as the technology gets better and better, it will become more and more realistic. And again, this is AR, but you can go totally into a VR environment too. And then this is another example of the Disaster Fighters campaign in the Caribbean. We partnered with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency to raise capital for relief efforts in Haiti. This was due to the Haiti earthquake as well. So we did 2 projects there. And then last week, or about 2 weeks ago, we worked with NFT Kids magazine to do an art fair with kids in Manhattan with all different kinds of art. So this is just some video that someone took of NFT Kids magazine and what they're doing. We did a show in Times Square with a lot of artists as well. Again, on a high level, we really believe in kind of solving and helping impact SDG, sustainable development goals. And so if you have ideas or things that you think would be helpful in any one of these areas, would love to talk to you. I think we have a mission. It's called, Team Superworld is kind of our movement, I should say. And Team Superworld is about how we all kind of work together to build Superworld. We have super citizens who buy the real estate. We're launching a token very soon. And, again, the idea is that we all kind of build it together and we all own it. I think on the arts side, there's a lot of opportunity to build art and do good as well. That's it for me. I'm going to stop here. This is where to find me. I'm pretty accessible on the web as well, LinkedIn. You can email me directly. Would love to hear from you, and really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot. You guys, there's some questions in the chat. Hrish, let's see.
Yeah, sure.
I really appreciate you being here, by the way. Very insightful as always, and project super cool. What's a compelling argument for, this is from Yep, what's a compelling argument for organizations like the World Bank to partner with Web3? Or how do these entities look at your organizations? How do they categorize blockchain projects?
Yeah, I think that they're very interested because they are working with partners in this case with the World Bank, the Caribbean, where they are trying to find innovative ways to support the kind of causes that they're already trying to help. And so in this case, they wanted to see how they could use NFTs to support raising money for disaster recovery as well as the Haiti earthquake. And so the argument is that by utilizing NFT technology, they're able to go direct to their supporters, be able to, again, create a structure that allows them to raise financing in a very transparent way, to enable them to have artists kind of integrated into this. So kind of add culture and art to something that, again, could happen in another way on a website. But here they're able to bring artwork into the process of bringing like more exposure to a cause that people believe in. So you buy a piece of art and you receive the ability to also contribute to the cause. And so I think there's a lot of benefits for organizations to leverage Web3. In our case, we're also leveraging, AR, VR, in other technologies to again enable people to see these things in a very compelling way. As an example of that, earlier this week, or last week, I should say, the nation of Barbados announced that they're building an embassy in Superworld. And other countries are building embassies now as well. So you'll hear more announcements of that. And so what's beautiful about that is now a nation has, basically come out and said Superworld is a place, and that they want to build and want to provide services for their citizenry to access, not only the resources that they're providing globally to their citizens, but also, ways for organizations, for businesses, et cetera, to, again, be able to build economies for their respective countries globally. So, I think there's a lot of things that are possible. We're evolving, we're learning. We're trying to be as open as possible. So that I think that hopefully helps answer some of the questions there. But again, I think it's an evolving question: is how can governments and not-for-profits and organizations utilize Superworld and Web3? We're learning, so we're open to it.
Maybe if I could throw a question out there, you got Metaverse. Now you're connecting it to the earth, so that's a conduit. It's making it a little bit closer to the quote unquote reality that we know. What do you think is the conduit in value between something happening in Superworld and something happening on the world? Is it connected fully in your mind, or is there a gap still to be filled?
Yeah, again, I think the way we're thinking about Superworld is Superworld and the world is one. So we don't really see it as necessarily separate. The difference in Superworld's all about your real life. So that's the differentiation. We're all about the real world. We're about the real world and your real life. We're leveraging these technologies to improve your real life. And so, we want it to, again, enhance what people are doing in their real world, real life. So if that's art, again, how can we, utilize these technologies to enable an artist to get out to more of the world, to monetize in interesting ways, to showcase their work in more interesting ways. And so again, we cover the surface of the earth. We're all around, all of us. And we want to be seamless to what people want to do in their real lives. And we call it passionware, which is a term coined by one of our investment partners, which is, how do we build technology that enables you to follow your passion? And it enables you to build a livelihood. And, there's a concept of play to earn. We call it live to earn. How do I, I was just in New York yesterday, and Bank of America was doing this, Christmas kind of fair in Bryant Park, sponsored by Bank of America. But now how do I get Bank of America to pay digital artists to put that art in Bryant Park, and you don't have to create a booth, physical booth, but you created a virtual booth. But Bank of America is sponsoring you to do that. So, again, it'll be at the same place the physical stuff is. So you could do the physical stuff, or you could see the virtual stuff, and you'll see what's happening, next week at Art Basel with Super Rare.
Super cool. So we've got another question from Yip. You've been on this journey for a while. What has been the most surprising or counterintuitive to you in terms of adoption of the metaverse? What were your major happy highlights?
Yeah, I think the surprising thing for me is that it all happened like very quickly. We've been on this journey for a while, and I've been in VR for a while, and blockchain for a while. When we started off in NFTs, it was like CryptoKitties and a few others. And we realized that it was going to be a challenge to educate people about NFTs. And there was a point in time where we were like, we need to stop saying NFTs because people have no idea what we're talking about. And we need to just say buy land. And so we literally were like removing the word NFT from our vernacular to avoid confusing people. And then suddenly, NFTs is actually the word that like people prefer to use and like became this, mainstream word. So, that was surprising to me that how fast that happened. And now NFTs are like cool. It's like you want to be in the NFT business, people talking about NFTs. And, so there was this like Saturday Night Live skit on NFTs, which I hope many of you have seen, but that thing cracked me up because it was like all about NFTs. It was like Eminem and, a few people talking about NFTs and, so that was surprising how quickly that happened. And then the metaverse and then Facebook changing their word to their name to Meta. So this is just getting more and more interesting and really speaks to the vision that we've been talking about for a long time.
I imagine you feel sort of vindicated for being an early player in the pathway.
I think that we're all doing it together. So, I have a very expansive, inclusive vision of kind of how we are building Superworld. So I think we're all kind of out there, spreading that message. So I really appreciate everyone's support of that. I think everyone in this community has been, really supportive of obviously Web3 and community building and kind of bringing together all of the different pieces are required to build a very strong, sustainable, growing community. And that's what we believe in too. So I think we're all doing that together. So I hope we all feel good about the progress we're making. It's been exciting.
Awesome. I think I have time for one more question from Yip as well. And you traveled a lot in the past months liaising with all the global leaders. What are some noteworthy trends we see across the globe or major differences across the region? And also excited for your Salon integration.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yep. Yes, I travel a fair bit. I live nomadically, so spend a lot of time everywhere. I think that the trends that I see is that the excitement around Web3 and Metaverse, blockchain, is really shared on a global level. I think that the beauty of this is that everyone can contribute. Everyone, regardless of where they are in the world, can create NFTs, create art, share art. At Superworld, we are a very global platform. We're one world. That's kind of how we think of the world. We're all in it together. And so I think the thing that I would say, the trend that I'm seeing that's very interesting is that people are really recognizing that it is one world. It is very, international from day one, that you can create art and sell it anywhere, and you can create something that has worldwide understanding and popularity and exposure. And, the Amazon project is an example of that. A tribe in the Amazon jungle is creating NFTs, right? It's like, wow, it's like, blows my mind, but really any of this can occur and can be created from anywhere and discovered from anywhere and monetized from anywhere. So that's pretty exciting.
Cool. Well, Hrish, thank you for being here. It's always good to have you, and your insights are always appreciated. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. And again, if if you have any thoughts or ideas or want to get involved in Superworld, definitely email me, CEO@superworldapp.com, or reach out to my team on the website. We'll look forward to working with you.